Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss about the buzzword in the news, Pax Silica. Pax is a Latin word that means peace or stability, and silica, silicon dioxide, the one which is a base material for most of the wafers of the semiconductor. Silica in reference to the semiconductor industry. The peace or stability in the management of the supply chain of the semiconductor industry, the backbone of the AI technologies. That is what Pax Silica is about. It is a US-led initiative. It is also a US-dominated initiative. And they have stated that the purpose is to build secure, resilient supply chain for the semiconductors, critical minerals, energy, and compute infrastructure. Compute infrastructure, the GPUs, TPUs, NPUs, the AI chips. So countries providing energy, they are critical partners, like Gulf countries are critical partners. The data centers they have a lot, they are also critical partners. Democratic Republic of Congo, supplier of the critical mineral. So they all would be here. And different countries have having different capabilities in the entire supply chain. They all will be included so that there is resilience in the entire ecosystem. That is the idea. On the website, they have stated that the purpose is to secure the entire supply chain from the mine to the model, the final AI chip model. So the complete management of the ecosystem, that's the purpose. They also have stated that to reduce coercive dependencies on adversarial nation, and the only nation which could be adversarial to US and having capability in AI, that is China. They haven't named it, but China implicitly is the target. And to isolate China and to develop the ecosystem bereft of China, that seems to be the purpose of Pax Silica. The original signatories of Pax Silica were the close buddies of USA, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Netherlands, UK, Israel, UAE, Australia. They were. And later on, Qatar and Greece also joined. And in the AI summit, India also joined. But India was not the original signatory of it. You have to remember that. In the recent AI summit, India has become the member. And Taiwan, you have to take a note of this. Taiwan is crucial for them. Their companies, NVIDIA, Intel, uh, they are good. They are good in design. AMR of UK, good in design. Samsung of South Korea, good in design. Their manufacturer is Taiwan. But Taiwan, US keeps Taiwan as an observer in many of the collaborations because of the sensitivity from China with regard to the diplomatic status of Taiwan. So Taiwan is an observer. European Union is also an observer. Please take a note of this. US has a new strategy of having to deal with fragmented and a weaker European Union that doesn't have a high bargain power. So countries individually, like Netherlands, individually are getting into agreement. It's a bilateral agreement, just like Artemis Accord. US bilaterally, individually is getting into agreement with the nations on the same plank. So European Union as a unit is an observer, and individual countries in European Union, they are becoming members. Canada is also a member. This group OECD, sorry, Canada is also an observer, and this group OECD is also an observer. India's entry happened in the recent AI summit. Significance of Pax Silica, there is a shift from 20th century to 21st century, from military-based alliance like NATO and Quad to technology-based alliance, and the geopolitics will be techno-geopolitics in 21st century. From the Pax Americana to Pax Silica, there's a shift in the mindset, and the logic of the alliance is also changing. From military threats and values, the logic is the technology. Alliances are no longer just about the shared values or military commitments, they're also about shared production, shared risk, and shared industrial capability. So this alliance recognizes, and their spokesperson have talked about it, that it treats fabrications and mines and data centers as strategic assets equivalent to military bases. So the logic of alliance in 21st century is technology and the supply chain management of the ecosystem of technology. So that's how other alliances will also develop. This you have to keep in track. This is not just a matter of science tech, but also on your international relation. As you understand the geopolitics you study there, the logic of alliance is going to change, already has changed. They also have said, their spokesperson, that if the 20th century ran on oil and steel, the 21st century runs on compute and the minerals that feed it. Compute means computational skill. They're referring to AI chips, the advanced microprocessors. So the compute capability and the minerals like rare earth elements and lithium, minerals associated that feed into the computing capability, that will also include the nuclear minerals for electricity, that is going to feed it. So Pax Silica operationalizes this insight by extending geopolitical competition from kinetic domains, the missiles and other things, to the entire semiconductor value chain. So it makes sense, the entire value chain. So the Gulf countries are important for them. They have the energy, they have the data centers. Netherlands is also important for them. They have the lithographic technology. Democratic Republic of Congo is also important for them. They have the cobalt mines. So the focusing on the entire semiconductor value chain, and different countries bring in different capabilities and they are trying to group all of them together. There is no geographical logic like formation of European Union or the Western powers. There is no geographical logic here. They're including everybody that brings value to the supply chain. The logic of alliance is different. Pax Silica is clearly representing that. China, without naming, they have named China, as I have mentioned there, and they're trying very hard to have controls on the exports in recent times from China. Under the CHIPS Act as well, they have banned the compute capability from getting passed on to China. They heavily control Netherlands ASML, and they have so much of interest in Taiwan to isolate China. And because the logic is changing, and it is also happening such that selective multilateralism, bilateralism overblocks. As I have highlighted this earlier, European Union is an observer, and the countries from Europe will have to get into bilateral agreement with the US. US prefers fragmented and manageable Europe. As a unit, they will have more bargain capacity. So US is not getting into agreement with the unit. They're getting into agreement with the members of European Union. So anybody bringing value to the supply chain, Netherlands, the company ASML, it has monopoly in the EUV lithography. We have discussed that in previous videos. More advanced, shorter, smaller microprocessors, the equipment that manufacture that is manufactured by ASML, and it's the only company that does it. Netherlands brings that to the table. South Korea, the Samsung and the companies, they are good in design. Japan provides the minerals and equipments. Israel is also not very dominant, but it has quite good of a presence in design, and more so in cyber security. It's very strong in cyber security. The Gulf states, they have energy, capital, and AI data centers. Singapore, they are advanced packaging hub, the assembly, testing, marking, and packaging units. They are very popular in Singapore. And UK company ARM, we have talked about this earlier, along with Intel, and ARM and Intel captures 10% of the market left by NVIDIA. UK, they are good in design. So the collaboration such is that the countries bringing value to the supply chain, they have been invited. And they were the first one to form the group. India is little late. India is not the original signatory. You have to remember that. India has to do the geostrategic calculus because there is no option. China cannot provide that capability that the West has. And in technological alignment, we have aligned with the West in many of them. For the nuclear technology also, we are aligned with the West. For quantum technology, we are aligned with the West. So this has been the part of our policy of Western alignment with the Western technology ecosystem. And things as they are, we had to take this decision of joining the Pax Silica. We cannot be falling behind. We have many of the manufacturing units coming up, and it is critical that to align with Taiwan and Netherlands to develop some joint ventures. Like the first one is coming up in India with Tata Electricals and PSMC. We want TSMC to be on board, and in the future some collaboration with ASML of Netherlands. So it's only natural that we get aligned with the ecosystem developing by the collaboration of these powers. I must tell you also before I give you these questions that these joining Pax Silica by itself doesn't mean anything. Just by joining Pax Silica, immediately we do not have any access to any technology. No joint collaboration with any of the major companies has been announced. AML or Nvidia or Intel or Samsung or ASML or TSMC, nothing. Nothing. We're just part of the group, and the promise is that the management will be such that the member countries will not get a supply shock. That's it. That's it. The rest of the regime remains the same. That in the last video we have seen, we had talked about this, that there are national quotas for GPUs and we have only 50,000. A very small country. UAE has 5 lakh. 5 lakh GPUs they can access from US. We have 50,000. Nothing changed. But being the part of the club gives us some maneuvering room, and from here, diplomatic success is required to get more and more concession from the group. All right. Now let's see some questions. Consider the following statement regarding Pax Silica initiative. It is legally binding treaty. It is not. You know, there are very few legally binding treaty. It is not. No. It is not legally binding. It is just a statement of intent, nothing more than that. So one has to go. Answer would be B. It is led by US Department of State. It aims to build secure supply chain. Correct. With reference to India's membership in Pax Silica, consider the following. India is the only BRICS member nation to have joined Pax Silica. They won't let Russia and China in. Correct? And Brazil, they're not happening. Very healthy relation with Brazil right now. So that's also not an option. They won't include Brazil. Then there's South Africa. South Africa, ever since, has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice. South Africa is also out of option. US is not having good relation with the other 4 currently. India is the only one. That is correct. This statement is correct. European Union is full signatory. They want to have fragmented and manageable European Union. European Union is an observer. Qatar and UAE joined Pax Silica after the initial founding summit. Well, Qatar definitely joined later on. UAE was in talks but did not join at the same time as the other countries like Japan and South Africa joined. So it is partially correct. Third statement is partially correct. So UAE was there. So what should we do? If UAE was there, then that makes this statement incorrect. Partially correct. But then we'll have to go with one only, I think. The first statement seems fully correct. Answer should be C. Consider the following statements regarding the strategic rationale behind Pax Silica. It seeks to reduce dependencies on adversarial nations like the AI technology supply chain. This is their stated statement. That has to be right. It covers the entire value chain from critical mineral extraction to the AI model deployment. This is correct. And it does not replace anything. Their CHIPS Act, their Science Act is intact. This is just a statement of intent of management. There's nothing concrete in as an agreement on trade or something. There's nothing in the details of which are there in the CHIPS Act and the Science Act that remains intact, and these has not been replaced. Nothing has been replaced. So that means A should be the answer for this. And see this question. What do you think? What should be the answer? You should be ahead of me in giving the answers while we discuss it. So what should be the answer? South Korea, advanced chip fabrication. Well, fabrication is not done by Samsung. That's done by Taiwan. I think one will be wrong. One goes and we only have C. That means 3 also goes. UAE energy and capital for AI data centers, which is right. 3 does not go. 3 has to stay. Then Israel lithograph. They're asking correct, right? Lithography equipment manufacturing. Lithography equipment manufacturing is not done by Israel. This is wrong. Equipment manufacturing is done by ASML. This is wrong. That's Netherlands. 2 has to go. 2 is wrong. Singapore is advanced semiconductor packaging hub. 4 is right. And 3 is also right. But 3 and 4, there is no option like that. 3 and 4. If we go with 3 and 4, we'll have to take 1 as well. South Korea, advanced chip fabrication. Advanced chip fabrication to the limited extent that can be right. Taiwan does 90% of the fabrication, but then in the rest of the 10%, South Korea can be taken. It can be taken, but outside of ASML, lithography equipment is not manufactured. For EUV, it is only ASML. For DUV, as we have discussed, it is ASML and other companies, but it is not Israel. So 2 is clearly wrong and 3 is clearly right. 4 is also clearly right. So we'll have to go with A. South Korea also does it. 90% is done by Taiwan, but in 10%, they obviously some of it will come. It will come definitely. So it is not a strategic contributor in that sense, but we'll have to go with A. It's not wrong to say that they do some fabrication. All right. All right. It will always be like this. You'll have to go with your hunch and the options given. Prelims will always be like this. See you again tomorrow.